10 Cloverfield Lane poster because that movie's awesome. It was really hard to take down that Star Wars poster. I do still have it, and it's actually on the wall behind this camera. But enough about that. Let's talk about the movie that had the misfortune of coming out 1 week after the best movie I've seen this year. I mean, seriously, does anyone care about this movie series anymore? The Divergent Series Allegiant. Okay, I know it's pronounced Allegiant, but I can't look at that title and not see Allegiant. I don't know, it's just weird. I don't know, that's how I see it. So yeah, movie 3 in the Divergent series starring Shailene Woodley and Theo James. Pretty much movie number 3 in the Grade B Hunger Games series. The series still has not dropped the Hunger Games parallels. Okay, so now they're going beyond the walls of Chicago because they're gonna take down this government that's ruling over everything. The characters are fine, they're functional, they're not the thing that's wrong with this movie, although Shailene Woodley's pretty bland. She was a good protagonist, although I felt like you didn't really see her too much in this movie. Or scratch that, I'll say that you feel like you see more of the supporting characters than you see of the actual main character. She just doesn't really do that much in this movie. I mean, it's part 1 of the last book, you know, like every book series movie thing does. Sometimes it works, in this case it does not. And the romance aspect, once again, it is laughable. There's a scene in this movie, I'm not gonna spoil it for you for those of you who actually care. There's a scene where like the guy is there and then she arrives at the place and they're like, oh my god, there you are, and they run to each other and they kiss and all that. The entire audience around me was laughing, and I was laughing right along with them, because it was so shoehorned, it was funny. Miles Teller continues to be the best character in this movie series, because he's the comic relief, you know, he delivers the one-liners, he makes you laugh, and yeah, he had some really funny moments in this movie. It's almost like he knows that the movie's not really that good, so he's almost saying things like, yeah, I know this movie's bad, can we just get on with it? Of course, he didn't say that in the movie, but it felt like that at times. And yes, there are still a lot of similarities to the Hunger Games. Now, Tris the Mockingjay, they're hanging out at this bureau, which we'll call District 13, which is actually kind of funny. This bureau that they're hanging out at is the remains of Chicago's O'Hare Airport, which I've been to a few times. That place is awesome. They got a freaking Brachiosaurus skeleton in there. And it's just funny to see it all ruined and futuristic and stuff. Now, when I first saw Jeff Daniels in this movie, I was like, wow, what's he doing here? And his character, David, is like President Al McCoy in Mockingjay. Same deal. Now, I'm not saying this movie is complete shit, because it's not. Visually, this movie is very appealing. There's lots of eye candy here. I mean, this bureau they're hanging out at, you see this huge, futuristic-looking building. It looks really cool. It's like the guy who designed the Walt Disney Concert Hall designed this building. And there are times where it looks a little overdone. Like, there are some times where it's a little too visually perfect. I actually went into this movie going, alright, the acting might be shit, but at least I'll see a lot of eye candy. And I did get a lot of eye candy. The gadgets the characters use are also really cool. Like, they have these little drone disc things that fly around them. Those are really cool. I'll say this. The world they created in this Divergent series is really cool. It's fun to look at, but the characters and the story and the plot and the acting and all that, they're not as good. In that, it's not unlike the Star Wars prequels. These movies are not as bad as the Star Wars prequels, but it's like that. And the pacing, again, this is a part 1 of the final book of a trilogy of books. So like Mockingjay Part 1, there's gonna be some scenes where it just slows down and you get bored and you're like, alright, let's pick it up. I don't know if the last one's gonna be any good. We'll have to wait and see. So yeah, the Divergent series Allegiant had a cool world. It was visually really cool to look at, but these characters were just functional at best. And the ending was weird. It actually tends to happen a lot with these movies. The ending to the last movie was pretty weird too. It's just like a couple of bits of dialogue. Oh, this will happen. Oh my god, dialogue. And then, credits. You're like, what? Okay, 15 seconds ago I was watching the movie, now I'm watching credits. It's just kind of weird and choppy, that's all. In the end, I will say, wait until this movie's at a discount theater, then go see it. So Allegiant, have you seen it? Do you still care about these movies, really? If so, what do you think about this one? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe. Next week.